Hey everyone, this is Mayur. Welcome back to ML Works. In this video, we'll talk about back of the envelope estimation and system design. So, when you're building a large scale system like millions of users and millions of queries per second, okay, then you have to make sure that you have an estimation of your resources, what is the performance that you need to achieve while you're building such a complex system. Okay, so there are a bunch of things or concepts that you should be aware of while you're building or making an estimation of such for a system, right? So there are like concepts like power of two, okay, latency numbers and availability numbers. So power of two is quite a simple concept, which is nothing but any power of two, right? Like power of 2 power 10 is 1024, which is equal to 1 kilobytes. Okay, and what we call it as 1000, approximately it's 1000, and we call it 1 KB or 1 kilobyte. Similarly, for 2 power 20 is 1 million, 2 power 30 is 1 billion, and so on. So we have all these names, right? Kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte. Now, when you're building a system, okay, at the end of the day, what you're doing is sending some information from one place to other place. Okay, so all these information is stored as bits. Okay, and 8 bit is equal to 1 byte, and each ASCII character takes 1 byte. Okay, so that's why we have to understand all these keywords. Okay, what is byte, what is bit, and what is 1 kilobyte, what does it mean. Okay, so all these things are basic understanding of your data. Okay, how it is measured in bytes. Now, when you're building a system, you also want it to be very performant, by which I mean like when you're sending a request, it should get a response quite quickly. Okay, the operation speed in a system is quite important when you're building a system, because many companies spend a lot of money on this. They want to improve the system performance such that the latency is reduced as much as possible. So let's understand certain operations and their time taken from them. Okay, so there are like different set of cache memory that is available in your system, like L1 cache and L2 cache. So those take around 0.5 and 7 nanoseconds. Main memory, access to main memory, okay, references to the main memory takes around 100 nanoseconds. And if you are compressing a 1 kilobyte of data through Zippy, okay, it takes 10 microseconds. Okay, if you're reading 1 megabyte sequentially from a memory RAM, okay, it takes around 250 microseconds. Now, if you're doing disk seek, okay, if you're seeking some location in a disk, it takes around 10 milliseconds. Okay, similarly, if you're reading sequentially from a network, 1 MB file, okay, it takes around 10 milliseconds. And if you're reading it from the disk, it takes 30 milliseconds. And if you're doing a round trip from California to Netherlands, you're sending a data packet, okay, it takes around 150 milliseconds. So with these things in mind, right, let's understand, right, what is happening in the table. So it is given like RAM is fast, okay, memory is fast than disk, okay, and you have to avoid as much as possible disk seek if possible. And you can also use compression algorithms to reduce the size of your data. And if you're sending a data across internet, okay, from one place to other, it is better if you can zip the data and then share it, because less the size of the data, it will be faster to send. And if you are having okay data centers in multiple regions in different locations in one country or different country, okay, then sending packets from one place to other also takes as a what do you call it, latency. It will add more latency to your system. So that is one of the things that need to be understood while you're building a system. Okay, so then this is with respect to latency. Okay, next is availability numbers. Consider you have built an app, okay, like an e-commerce app, or you have built a food delivery app. Okay, so you have to ensure that app is up and running like 99% or more than that time it is available for the user to use. So that is what availability refers to. Okay, so it is in a basic definition is it is a capable of operating continuously without time, without downtime. Okay, it is measured in percentages. Okay, 100% availability means there is zero downtime, but that is not possible in any case. So there are many services that provide 99 to in between 99 to 100% availability. So also the other thing is, for example, if you are running an app, okay, you are building an app like e-commerce website, okay, and then you are hosting your e-commerce website on a AWS or GCP. Now you will have a kind of an SLA, okay, service level agreement with AWS or GCP, that they should available make sure that their servers are available for 99 or more than that percentage of time. Okay, there should be a very less downtime for their servers for your app. Okay, so that is the service level agreement that reaches between a customer and a service provider. Now, there are cloud providers like what Google, AWS, Azure, which provide 99.9% and above availability. Okay, so what does that mean, right? So you have per year you have around 365 days approximately. Okay, then 99 percentage availability means per day 14.4 minutes it will be downtime, and per year it is around 3.65 days your system will be down. Okay, 99.9% availability means like 1.44 minutes downtime per day and 8.77 hours per year. Similarly, the other cases, the 99.9999% refers to downtime of 86.4 millisecond, and per year you will have 31.56 seconds of downtime per year. So these are like what availability numbers. This it needs to be understood because while you're building a app or any system, you have to ensure that how much load it can take, what are the possibility of failure. Okay, so for that you need to understand the availability numbers. So these are some certain concepts, right? Availability numbers, latency numbers, and power of two. These are some simple basic concepts that you can use while you're building a system and make an estimation of your system based on the user base and all those kinds. Okay. Now, for example, let's talk about what Twitter. Okay. Assume there are like 300 million active users per month. Okay, then there are like 50 percentage of the users uses Twitter daily, and then user post 2 tweets per day on average, and 10 percentage of the tweets contain media, that is images or video. Okay, and data is stored for 5 years. Now, based on this assumption of what the usage, let's understand what is the query per second. So it is given 300 million users. 50 percentage of 300 million is 150 million users, and it is given 2 tweets per day on average. So tweets per second is 150 million into 2 into 24 hours, and each hour has 3600 seconds. So which is approximately 3500 tweets per second. Now at the peak will be, okay, this is for 150 million users, you have 3500 tweets per second. Similarly, it will be the peak will be 2 times of whatever 3500, which is 7000 tweets per second is the peak load. Okay, so but now when it comes to the data, right? Let's talk about the data. Like if you have 10 percentage of the tweets containing media. Okay, so what are the potential media? What bytes, right? That or the size of the content that is sent across while you're tweeting. Okay, there is a text. Okay, which is around 140 bytes, and media of 1 MB, and tweet ID which takes up 64 bytes. Now, these three compared against what 150 million users into 2 times, which is nothing but 2 tweets per second. 150 million into 2 tweets into 10% of that, which is what is that? 10% is 15 million. Okay, and then 1 MB. So there is totally 30 TB per day is media getting stored, 30 TB per day. Now it is turned into for 5 years, then 30 TB into 365 into 5. That is 55 petabytes of data is getting stored. Okay, for 5 years. So this is one way of what estimating based on the certain assumptions that we have made for the Twitter user base. Okay, on what is their activity on Twitter. And so this is the example we had. Okay, so let's just go back, right? What I was talking. So to evaluate your performance, then you have to look at these basic concepts like power of two, latency numbers, and availability numbers. And based on that, you can set a system or have an assumption about your system. What are the changes you have to make? Okay, number of the scaling replicas that you have to set up for taking the load. Okay, so all these things can be what understood by making some approximation on the capacity of performance of your requirement of the system. Okay, so with that, I'll be concluding this video. Thank you so much.